All right, so my first question is have you ever heard of the term deaf space before?
No.
Okay, so basically deaf space is just how the environment is designed in order to facilitate the needs of the deaf community. So with that said, I'm going to have you take a look at these two pictures of chairs and tell me which one best relates to deaf space.
I'm going to guess the top one.
Yeah, exactly. You can see how the bottom swivels and there's a cup holder, and also the desk will move to the side so it'll better facilitate signing. Where the one on the bottom is a standard desk where the legs stay in. Okay, so my first question for you is, have you ever heard of the term deaf space before?
No.
Okay, so basically it's how the environment is designed to facilitate the needs of the deaf community.
Okay.
So with that being said, can you take a look at these two pictures of classroom settings and tell me which one you think would best fit deaf space?
This one.
Yeah, exactly. You can see in the bottom one that the desks are in a horseshoe shape so that the students in the classroom can see each other. Whereas in a mainstream classroom like the top, they're in rows so you wouldn't be able to see each other when you're signing.
Have you ever heard of the word deaf space before?
No.
Okay, so there's many aspects to deaf space, but the one I'm going to tell you about today is deaf personal space. So when you talk to someone, are you always like looking in the eye and like keeping eye contact with them?
Not at all.
Well, typically that's like true in the hearing world. We are maybe like looking at our phones or looking elsewhere because we're hearing the people speak. But eye contact in the deaf community is extremely important because that's how they're hearing the conversation. So have you ever heard of the word deaf space before?
I have not.
Okay, so there's many aspects to deaf space, but the one that I'm going to tell you about today is deaf personal space. When you are talking to someone, would you say this is like an appropriate distance to be between? Okay, so I'm going to take a few steps back. And this is just to show you that when deaf people are communicating, you have to keep in mind the signing area. So to be able to see the other person talking, typically this is how far apart deaf people will be when they're conversing.
So I'm going to show you two pictures. Well, actually, two pictures. And I'm going to ask you which one you think would be best suitable for deaf space. So here is the first one. Can you see that? So here you have like a room where you see like walls right here. So imagine a deaf person was coming through here with like someone else and they were talking and they were turning this corner, compared to as if they were coming and walking with someone and they were turning around a corner that was a little bit more rounded. Which one do you think would be better for someone who is deaf?
Probably the one on the bottom.
How did you get to that conclusion?
Because it's a lot safer of an environment.
That's true. So, like, if you were in the top one, if someone was signing, they're probably looking at the person and making eye contact because that's how deaf people communicate, as well as using signs. So they're not going to see someone coming from this side. Whereas if you're coming around a more rounded corner, it's going to be a little bit easier to see what's ahead of you and still keep your conversation going. All right, so first I want to ask you, have you ever heard of deaf space?
Yep.
Can you define it for me?
Deaf space.
In your own words.
Deaf space is a space in an area of a room or building that facilitates communication within other deaf people or people in that area.
That is true. And a lot of people actually don't know that it can be helpful for hearing people as well, not just deaf people. So I'm going to show you a picture, and I'm going to ask you which set of stairs you think would be best suitable for two deaf people carrying on a conversation. Okay, so here's a set of stairs and here's a ramp. If two deaf people are carrying on a conversation, which one do you think would be best suitable for them to be able to communicate and not have to worry about where they're walking as much?
The stairs.
Why do you think the stairs?
You just walk up the stairs. You got the narrow ramp, and you're communicating. You're in a tight, confined area.
Okay. Well, it's actually the ramp, because when deaf people are communicating, it's hard for them to be able to look down and like watch where they're walking. So if you go into like a deaf area or like a deaf space like Gallaudet, you'll see like a lot more ramps than you will stairs, because it's easier for them to sign and communicate and not have to worry about where they're walking.